welcome to the fourth episode of the URC Hot Seat. My name is Maria. I'm part of the social media committee, and let's welcome our fourth guest of the URC Hot Seat.
Hello, everybody. My name is Angel or Angel Rocha, pronounced he, him, él, and I am the Associate Director for the Undocumented Resource Center.
Thank you. We'll get started with the first question. How was Angel as a child?
Angel as a child was shy. He was very, very shy, very quiet. I was born in Bakersfield, California, not a place I really grew up in. It was just where I was born. And very quickly after, we started moving a lot. And slowly but surely, my dad was finding other opportunities for work closer to Tijuana, which is where my family is from. And he wanted to just be closer to his family. So we moved a lot as a kid. So I started school in Tijuana. Some of my earliest memories are in Tijuana, but it was a lot of moving before that. So I think community was hard to find. Eventually, we came here to the States, where through various different means and history, but even then, that was another move. So I felt like every time I made a community, we moved. So I felt like I was very shy. And it took a while to get me to kind of get that confidence to build community. But grateful for my family overall. Grateful for my family and the experiences I've had. But, he was an alright kid. Played a lot of video games, still do. So yeah, shy video gamer that slowly but surely opened up over time.
Can you tell me a bit about growing up mixed status and what does that mean to you?
Sure. So I mentioned that some of my earliest memories are from Tijuana. My parents came to the States originally with a work visa, and then we went to Tijuana. And then my dad kept working and crossing the border every day, working here in the States and going to Tijuana where we lived. And at one point, those work visas were expiring. So we came here and my parents' work visas expired, so they became undocumented. So growing up in a mixed status household, I was a citizen. I'm very privileged for that. My siblings are citizens, but my parents were undocumented. So I think there was a lot of experiences that I empathized with as I learned more about the undocumented population and identity. The sense of privacy, intense privacy, not really sharing things about ourselves. My parents discouraged bringing friends over because, didn't want anyone to know much about us because of their undocumented status. So even though I myself am very privileged and my experiences, I felt empathetic experiences that were similar but not the same to undocumented folks because of my parents' experiences. They are now citizens. Over time, they became residents. Over time, they became citizens. So I'm very grateful and very privileged to still have both of my parents alive here in the country. But yeah, it was an interesting experience growing up with all of that as just something that even now I'm still trying to unlearn, sharing more about myself, opening up. When I was in college, I had a hard time opening up as well because of some of those experiences. So yeah, I think what it means to me is a lot of growth and unlearning of experiences as well.
What was your undergrad experience and later grad experience?
I came here to SDSU as an undergraduate student. I was the first in my family, first generation. I'm the oldest sibling. My parents did not come to university or higher ed here in the States. And I did not like it. It was a tough time. I didn't really like school in general. I did good. My grades were good, but it was a responsibility, not something I felt any joy in or any interest in. But college was always an expectation from my parents, and because of everything that they sacrificed, everything that they gave, everything that they did so that I could be successful, I wanted to follow through on those expectations. When I was about 10 or so years old, my father had a work accident and he became disabled. So he's been disabled since and has not worked since because of his injury. Again, I'm privileged to still have my dad, and he's still alive. We're celebrating his birthday very soon in the month of October. But because of everything that he did and everything he went through, he still did everything possible to provide for us while undocumented, while injured, while disabled. So I felt this immense, I don't want to say pressure, but responsibility to meet all those expectations that my parents had for me. So I did not like college, but I did it because it was for them. I felt like I was bounced around. I'm a first generation student. Uh, I don't know what college is. My parents don't know what college is, but they wanted me to go and do it. And when I got here and I asked for help, I felt like every door was being closed in front of me. Oh, this isn't an advising room for you. Try this place. Oh, this isn't really the place for you. Try this other place. And I just kept getting bounced around. So it was very frustrating. But that's my motivation for my role now. That was my motivation for when I went back to grad school. I found student affairs as a profession and fell in love with it. And because of that, I wanted to be the champion that I kind of wish I had at the time, um, to not feel like I'm being bounced around. So I want to help students that feel like they're lost and help them figure it out with them. So yeah, my grad experience was much better because I think I had such a tough time in undergrad. There were not identity centers in the same way. There was not a commuter resource center in the same way. So I think maybe that angel in this time, in this SDSU campus, might have been more successful, might have had a better time. But I'm grateful for my experiences because I'm here.
Can you talk a bit about the impact the mentor you mentioned in your bio made on you?
Absolutely. I mentioned that I had a hard time here in undergrad, and I just felt bounced around. And one professor just spontaneously, I don't even remember how it started. I think I was taking too long to pack up my stuff. I don't know. And she just decided to ask, "How are you? What's going on? Like, thanks for being in the class or whatever." She just struck up a conversation. And it was so strange because I graduated in 5 years. That was my third year or so. No other professor had checked in with me like that. No one had asked me how I was doing. And, I just said, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Bye. But over time, she kept asking. And over time, I don't know, she always caught me at the end of class. And I found myself staying at the end of class so I could just have a conversation with her. And she just made me feel like I belonged. I struggle to this day with imposter syndrome, and struggled with it before, where I felt like this campus did not want me here. I didn't belong here. I didn't see myself here. And this professor, um, she just made me feel welcome. She checked in with me. She asked me to go to her office hours. She convinced me to join the speech and debate team, even though as a commuter, um, being here after classes is tough. And speech and debate met at 7 p.m. I was like, why would I do that? But I joined and I had a good time because it convinced me to try to get involved on campus. And that was my last semester. I wish I did more to get involved, but also with familial responsibilities, being a commuter, uh, it was much harder to get involved. So I kind of wish I did it, but also I know that my reality was my reality. So yeah, this mentor I think pushed me to try to find a home here, and I think that's what I tried to make when I came back for grad school, and what I try to make for others in my work that I do.
Well, that's really sweet. And it's definitely what you're doing here at the URC. Thank you. There you go. Now that you're a whole father, what do you look forward to the most with your son?
So yeah, for the folks that don't know, I just became a dad. He is almost 2 months, and I think what I look forward to with my son is I I feel like making him laugh. He's still at an age where, he stares off into the distances and it's just like, wow, lights, things. But I think, we have our little interactions and stuff, but I'm looking forward to making him laugh. I'm
Oh,
looking forward to, um, playing with him. Just he can't crawl yet. He's still tiny and very dependent, but and I know I'm going to be exhausted chasing after him, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, um, being his little friend, I guess, and just playing, interacting, laughing, all of that stuff. We get little smirks out of him, but I'm looking forward to, and I'm waiting for his first real laugh.
What values and characteristics do you hope he learns from you?
Oh, I mean, it's a big question. I'd
Yeah.
say, I'd say, I hope he learns and values the importance of helping others. What that looks for him, what that means for him, I wanted him to make it his own. But I think helping others is something I'm I hold as a very core value for myself, or I try to hold as a core value for myself. So that's what I would like to see him do. But in time, we'll see what he does for himself.
Now to the big question. The audience wants to know, how does it feel to know that the future is now in your hands?
um, it's sometimes terrifying. Um, I've mentioned imposter syndrome. I'm very critical of myself sometimes. So I sometimes worry, am I doing this right? Am I gonna be a good role model? Am I gonna be, I don't know, supportive of him and all the things that I want to do? When you're sleep deprived,
Yeah.
sometimes he still cries throughout the night sometimes. It's hard to do the things that you ideally want to do perfectly well. And life is life, obstacles will come. So I think it's scary, but at the same time, I look forward to going home and picking him up. And maybe he cries a little bit, but then eventually he calms down. I put him to sleep, I feed him, whatever. Like, those are things I look forward to. So scary but exciting is the short version.
I know a saying I go by and I share a lot is that just to keep in mind it's our first time living, it's our parents' first time living, it's his first time living, it's everyone's first time living. No one has like a manual. Unfortunately, there's no instructions, but I'm sure you'll do fine. He'll be
Thank you.
fine too.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you.
Looking back at your journey, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of, I mean, it's not even, I don't feel like it's my accomplishment, but I'm most proud of my sister, who is 10 years younger than me. She came to SDSU after really doubting that she could do it, thinking that I was much smarter than her, thinking that it was too hard for her. Um, and then she went to community college, and then she hit the dean's list, and she's like, "Holy cow! Like, I'm smart." I was like, "Dude, you've been smart. Like, smart is not something to compare yourself in. That's not something to feel like you have to meet some sort of metric. She's brilliant, but that, I think, was the moment that she said, "Holy cow! Like, maybe I can do it." Because I never hit the dean's list, and I came here and I graduated. So I emphasized that to her. Like, I don't want you to compare yourself, but also, um, like, you're doing amazing, bigger things than I ever did. So I'm most proud of being able to support her and encourage her. And she graduated last year. Um, so I think that's something I'm most proud of. Seeing her cross that stage in graduation. Um, I'm 10 years older than her, so I don't want to say I'm like a third parent, but I feel like I'm like
Mm-hmm.
part of her core raising community or whatever. So I would check in with her about her homework. I would check in with her about her assignments. How's everything going? So when she crossed that stage, I cried so hard. And my parents are like, "Oh my gosh, like, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm so proud of her." So I'm proud that I was a part of her story. I'm proud that I was able to support her. Um, yeah, I don't know if that fully answers the question because it's someone else's accomplishment, but it's something I'm very proud of.
If you can go back in time and talk to little Angel, what would you tell him?
That it's all part of the process, that all the doubt, all the questions, all the conversations in your head, it's okay. You're okay. It's part of the process, and that I'm growing. It's all part of growth. There's no end. There is no, I've done it. I'm some sort of, accomplished adult. It's all a process, and to not beat myself up where I'm at in that moment and just be proud of where I'm at and know that I'm going to keep going forward.
We're gonna move on to our second segment, Instagram speed questions, where our Instagram viewers asked us some questions that they would like Angel to answer. What kind of person do you want your son to grow up to be?
I mean, I want him to become his own person. I want him to learn from myself and his mom and his community and family, but I want him to be himself, and I'm excited to meet who that is. Um, and yeah, I think just I mentioned the core value of helping others. I would love that to be a part of him. How? It's up to him. I don't want to make him someone he doesn't want to be. I want to nurture whoever he wants to be and support that. My parents were always incredibly supportive, and I think that they just said college is the only expectation. What you do afterwards, um, as long as you enjoy it, it'll be easier and it'll feel like you're not working. Was something my dad always said. Pick a career that won't feel like work because you enjoy it. I want to do that for him. I want to encourage him to find his joy and make that his life, both separately professionally and separately personally. But yeah, just be him and encourage it.
Why the URC?
Why the URC? um, I've supported undocumented and mixed status students in previous roles, and it's always been work that I've been very proud of and have really appreciated. And I felt that this is a community I want to champion in however I can. So whether it was trying to encourage more undoc folks to apply to scholarships that I was able to have influence in, whether it was trying to increase outreach efforts, that included DREAM Act application information, and the encouragement that there are spaces for them. I think it was something I was proud of, but then seeing this opportunity, I felt like this is something I identified with through my mixed status upbringing, and I wanted to support. But at the same time, I mean, that was probably like 50%. Actually, that was probably more like 65%, and the other 35%, if I did the math right, was the incredible team here. Um, I think almost every hot seat has mentioned Cynthia. Cynthia is the director, and she is, yes, such a superhero, a celebrity on this campus, and an incredible advocate for students, staff, colleagues alike. And I've always admired her. I've had the chance to cross paths with her several times, but never worked directly with her, and that was something that was so exciting to me. And then the students, the staff here, it's a community that I've heard other professionals say, like, this is such a strong community of student assistants. They are advocates, they are professionals, they are sometimes the first in every room to speak and share. So that Ingrid is incredible as well, someone with a heck of a story of her own and also an advocate in her own way. So yeah, 65% getting to work with the community that I'm excited about supporting, and 35% the wonderful team I was going to have a chance to work with. And it's been a blast since.
If you could choose a Smash Bros character, what would it be and why?
Link from The Legend of Zelda, Champion Link specifically. If we're talking the newest edition, Smash Ultimate, he's got the perfect mix of ranged attacks and close combat. Come at me, y'all. Anybody thinks they can take me on? I'm looking for a challenge. Usually Fridays at 3 p.m. or 2 to 3 p.m. Or just come on by and we'll schedule something.
What is your favorite coffee spot here in San Diego?
There is a coffee shop down in Chula Vista called Cafe Taza, and I've been going there since undergrad. That was my I need to focus, I need to study spot. They have a drink called the the polar bear. It's a white chocolate mocha. My teeth can't handle that anymore, but it was my favorite drink back then. Now it's a spiced dirty chai, so it's got an extra shot of espresso because sometimes I'm needing it. But yeah, I love that spot. I can go there. I journal. I try to get some extra work done, check personal emails, whatever, or just hang out. I recommend that spot for folks that haven't been there.
What event would you say is your favorite out of all the URC events that we have?
There's so many good ones, so it's not to say that the others were inferior, but I think that on Docu Week of Action, we had the timeline of immigration policy and law, as well as these poets and stories shared on the other side of it. That was wonderful. I think understandably we have a great space here and we want folks to come to us, but I think going out and putting our space out there, our identity out there, can be nerve-wracking, especially in this political climate. So it was great to kind of just be out there so confidently, all of us, to the best of our ability. And also, I felt that the campus and the leadership were supportive. Folks came by, folks asked questions. It was great. I felt great about it. I stood out there the whole time and just engaged with people the best I could, but it was a blast. And to see people that are advocates as well and allies come by and like, I just want to come support, and they were just reading all these things. So that was a great event, that, yeah, we'll hopefully keep doing in some way, shape, or form in future years.
Shout out to Ingrid for putting it all together. I looked great. So that will wrap up our fourth episode of the URC Hot Seat. Thank you, Angel, for opening up and sharing your story and allowing us a little insight into who you are as a person, not only as a staff member of the URC. And we're super thankful to have you here. We love you as our new addition. You bring so much light, so much chaos too, but in a good way, especially on Fridays when they play Smash Bros. You can't study here on Friday. But thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for next week's episode and next week's guest speaker. Bye.